Today we're going to make a slim line card or slim card, and I'm going to feature the product, the bundle Freezin Fun, which comes with this fun stamp set as well as a wonderful collection of coordinating dies. Some of the dies match the stamped images exactly, and others are extras, like this piece for making like snow or hillside. The stars are extra, that little cute little heart is extra. So lots of fun to play with this bundle. So I told you if you wanted to craft along with me that you would need a piece of designer series paper measuring 8 inches by 3 inches. This is the one I chose. Either side would work very well with the bundle I chose to use. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock that coordinate with that DSP, and this is the Snowflake Splendor DSP. Snowflake Splendor DSP. And I chose Pool Party, so this is cut to 8 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then I have a piece of Balmy Blue, which is 7 inches by 8 1/2. Okay, 7 inches by 8 1/2. So you're really only going to get one slim card from a sheet of 8 1/2 by 11 designer series or cardstock. Okay, but it is possible to use one sheet of DSP and get 5 8-inch by 3-inch pieces from that one sheet of DSP. So that goes a long way in slimline cards. So the first thing you want to do is take your 7-inch by 8 1/2 inch cardstock, and with the 7-inch side at the top of your paper cutter, you want to score. Make sure you're using the correct scoring piece. Okay, and you will now have, when you fold it in half, the base of your slim card. And this measures 3 1/2 inches across by 8 1/2 inches high. Okay, 3 1/2 by 8 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 pieces together, the DSP and the Pool Party cardstock. And you can make your mat for that DSP any size you want. It can be thinner, like 8 1/8 and 3 by 3 1/8. Mine is 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now I could go ahead and mount this on and start decorating, but before I do that, I decided I wanted to add some pretty ribbon. Now in this product suite, we do have the pretty Snowflake Splendor ribbon, and it's just kind of this sort of like a Northern Lights iridescent looking ribbon. It shows kind of pink and purples and blues and greens in it. But I have decided that I'm going to use the Pool Party sheer ribbon, which is really, really pretty, a little bit finer. It is wider than the other, but in terms of working with it, it is finer, so it's a little bit easier to tie bows with. So I'm going to take this around my layers here, and I'm just going to tie a nice bow. So it's really is easy to tie bows with this because it is so thin and so fine. I'll make sure those loops are pretty even. And then I'll cut the tails of my bow. I'm going to leave them rather long. Now, when you get to this point in putting your card together, of course you're going to have lots and lots of choices. You could put some white cardstock on that covers the majority of your designer series paper and your layers. I'll put some layers in the center, and I will use some Whisper White cardstock in there. Or you can section it off, okay? So what I've done is kind of sectioned off my top layer, excuse me, and I'm going to build the rest of my card above that bow. And I might, now you know this trick of being able to move the bow, right? You just bend your cardstock a little and that ribbon and bow that's wrapped around will shift for you easily. So for that reason, I'm not sure exactly where I want my bow to be, center, left, or right. So I am not going to adhere it to my card front until I build the rest. And in the essence of time, I went ahead and stamped and colored some of the pieces from Freezin Fun that I will use to build my card front. Now, one thing I want to mention first of all, though, is when you're cutting the hillside or the snow, I'm going to give you a tip here. So I took this piece of, oops, is that the wrong one? Oh, it was wider. That's what it was. It was wider. So I had a piece about this size and I cut it this way, going from top left to bottom right. And when you flip that, you've got two pieces, but they're both going the same direction. I did cut off the ends of these a little bit because I didn't want them wider than the 3 inches. But I've got one for this card and one to use for another card later. Then I took another piece and this time I laid my die the opposite direction, going from bottom left to top right. And then you can get your hillside coming from the opposite direction as your first one. And again, you get 2 of those pieces, so set one off to use later. So now I have these, and I could put them on my card this way or on this way. So I'm going to do this, all right? And you can either put them together first and then adhere them to your card front, or you can put the underneath piece on first. And I made mine 3 inches wide. I'm just going to lower this bow for a little bit here. I think it's a little bit higher than I would like it. So remember that when you've wrapped your ribbon all the way around and secured it in front, and you want to be able to move it up or down or left or right, do not secure that to your card base just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the underneath piece of the snow hills to my card front. I made it 3 inches wide, so it's the same width as my designer series paper. So it's really easy to line up accurately on both sides. And then I'm going to put this one on top of it. And I'm going to match up the bottom of this piece with the bottom of that first snow hill piece. And then of course the left and right edges of the other layers. Okay, right now I like that bow as is, but we're gonna see. Okay, now I've got various things here. I've got the seal on his little floating ice pad. I've got my snowman, and then I've got a few trees here. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is kind of put these trees, it might be too crowded with all of this. Might have too much on here. But the first thing I'm going to do is put this tree down here, way down at the bottom of the hill. I have it hanging off the white a little bit. And then I'm going to add my rabbit on the skis. Now I have made some of these using wobbles. I think you saw me use those on a previous Freezin Fun card. And that would be awesome right now, except that I haven't unpacked everything from my weekend. So those are still packed up. I'll have to get those out later today. But I'm going to put my skiing bunny right up here on dimensionals. And then I'm trying to decide where I want this other tree. I don't necessarily want it to look like this bunny's going to ski into that tree. Might even put it down here a little bit past the bow. And then I want my seal to be having some fun there as well. Maybe I'll do this instead. I think it's always a good idea too, if you've got certain pieces like this that you want to use, stamped and colored images that you've got cut out and that you want to use, to kind of just play with them for a little bit. Okay, that arrangement's I like better. So this big tree I will put on a dimensional as well. Kind of up here at the top of that hill. And then I've got the seal floating on along on his little iceberg. Oops. Put this down here. I love how these characters look so happy. Just kind of reminds me of when my dad used to take us sledding. And we were so happy. Boy, we were freezing, but we had fun and we were happy and it was all good. I grew up in Cleveland, so we would go to the metro parks and we called it the Valley. We'd go to the Valley for drives and sledding, that sort of thing. I even remember one year when we were really, really little, my mom kept saying if we were extra good that day, my dad would bring home a surprise, and he brought home a toboggan that we would all ride on at once, and that was pretty cool. So here is my finished card front. We have some wonderful embellishments to go on this, like the snowflake sequins. Those are also packed up upstairs along with the other embellishments I took for the weekend. So I slept in a little bit today instead of getting up early and doing all my unpacking. But I will get it done. I will get it done this afternoon. I got the laundry started and my grass watered, so I'd say that's a pretty good Monday morning. So there you have it, and I think I'm really happy with that bow in the middle. I didn't want to move it and from where it was, and therefore was ready to adhere the whole piece, all the layers, to my card front. Now on the inside, I can go ahead and add some layers as well. I can, let me grab it here. I can add a layer of the pool party, and I'm cutting it the very same as I did for the front. Let me pull this over. I forget that I'm not horizontal. So this is 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 inches. Just like that. And then I'm also going to cut a piece of Whisper White. And this is what I can use if I want to stamp a sentiment or write a message in there on the inside of that card. So this will be 3 inches by 8 inches. Now before I adhere these together, I'm going to stamp my greeting. And I think, let's see, life's better when we're having fun together, sending warmth your way. 'Tis the season to be freezin' and wee! I think I'll do sending warmth your way. No, I won't. I'll do the friends one. Life's better when we're having fun together. And I think I'm going to stamp that in Balmy Blue. I'm going to stamp it on scrap paper first to make sure that to see how it stamps straight or not. So I'm just lining up the bottom of that rubber stamp with the edge of my scrap paper, and it does look like it's stamped straight. So now I'm just going to eyeball it in the middle, trying to stamp as straight as I can without getting my head in the camera view. A little higher. And I'd say that's pretty good. And if you wanted to stamp more, there's other things here. How about if I add a few snowflakes? And get a smaller block. I'm just going to tap very lightly, test it out on my paper. A few up here. And a few like that. And I'd say that's pretty good. So now I'm ready to adhere this to, oh, there is one more thing you might want to do. Nope, that's not the ribbon I used. I used this one. If you want to dress it up a little bit more, how about putting just a strip of ribbon across the top and bottom. And there is a lot of white space because of it being a slim card, or slim line, I think some people are calling it. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of ribbon and wrap it around the bottom edge. And I'm securing the ends on the back side only, not securing the ribbon on the front. I don't like seeing the adhesive behind the ribbon, so I'm just securing the ends on the back. Okay, and I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, Mary, there's no, Stampin' Up! Does not sell an envelope to fit these slimline cards, so how would you mail it? These will fit in a standard business envelope, So you know, the size envelope that you might get bills in and such. Seems like one of my cutting measurements was off a little bit. Or something that you would send a letter in, like typing paper or copy paper size letter. You would fold in the thirds and then slip it into a long business envelope. These cards fit that same envelope, that long business envelope. Okay. And if you'd like to win this card, I feel like I cut my, I cut my pool party a little bit short. I think I cut it 8 1/8 instead of 8 1/4 inches long, but that's okay. I'm going with it. So very pretty card, don't you think? A lot of fun. There you have it. if you would like to win this card, I'm asking you to comment now, and I'm also asking you to share this Facebook Live with others. Every time you comment and share, it improves the Facebook algorithm and Facebook draws or sends more people to my sites, helping me extend my business and by reaching more people. So if you would do those two things, I would appreciate it very much, and I will be drawing a winner for today's card in the next few minutes, and it will be based on sharing and commenting. All right, any questions? Any questions I can answer for people? Let me zip back through the comments here. I was focusing on watching the video itself, how it's coming up on the screen, since I'm limited with the vertical view instead of the horizontal view. Thank you, Amy and Joan, Susan, Dee Dee, Pam, Iona, Patricia, Leslie, Fran, Debbie, Alice. Thanks so much for watching. Kathy, thanks for being here. Kathy Sheely, welcome to you also. We have two Kathys, Kathy C and Kathy with a K. Hi Diane, and hi Vicki Parker. Hi Julie. Oh, so many of you on here today. Hello Teresa. Hi Sharon Van Winkle. I appreciate you all, and I'm so happy that you could join in with me this morning. I'm so happy to hear that many of you will be trying the slimline cards with the dimensions that I gave you. Alice, I'm saying a prayer for you and your friend. I'm so sorry to hear that your friend is now in hospice. Oh, Julie, you're familiar with the Valley. Yes. I grew up in Cleveland, on the west side of Cleveland. So yes, anybody Cleveland, Akron area knows what I'm talking about when I refer to the Valley, meaning the big Cleveland metro parks. Okay, everyone, I hope your Monday morning has been good, and I hope your week is off to a good start. And I look forward to seeing more of you this week. I've got a lot on my agenda, including Leader Summit, which is Thursday through Saturday, Thursday evening through Saturday evening. And I'll be having my upline, Susie Brunk, and another demonstrator friend, Joyce Whitman, coming to stay with me on those days, and we're going to enjoy the Leadership Summit that we signed up together. And we'll do lots of learning and growing and sharing, and we're also going to get in some time for stamping together. Okay, I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great week. Happy Monday.